Cities of Sigmar. Part 1. Propaganda. The Age of Chaos saw civilization of the mortal realms divided and conquered, enslaved and worse. The races of order were pushed back behind the final barricade, the impenetrable golden walls of Azir. There Sigmar and his remaining allies of humans, elves, Dwarden, and Sylvaneth worked against the clock to muster a final counterattack, one that would either be their last glorious moment, or a turning point in history. As is often the case, ancient grudges and prejudice evaporated in the face of Armageddon, and their teamwork rose to the challenge. Human collegiate working with high elven sorcerers, dark elf blood rites, sylvan life magic, free people, and dispossessed weapons of war. They made the Stormcast Eternals, Pyrrhic warriors who could die to a man on suicide missions to gain ground, and then return to fight again like their demonic adversaries. Although there was no time to perfect it, with flaws that would later prove to haunt them. Still, the gates of Azir blew open, and not how Chaos had hoped. The demonic infighting masses fell back again and again, losing footholds, losing territory, losing realm gates. Hammerhall, Living City, Greywater Fastness, the Phoenicium, Anvilgard, Hollowheart, and Tempest's Eye. These great cities were founded as candles in the darkness of a would-be hopeless realm that had, for now, found some light. The Age of Sigmar had begun. Now get out there and have your battle mages teleport battalions of Iron Drake Blaze Masters across the table to light up the enemy army like a Christmas tree. Pick and choose the best units that all the mortal races have to offer, and overcome the demonic threats with combined arms warfare. So okay, they're big cities, but surely a chaos army of sufficient size could take... No, you misunderstand. These are nations. Hammerhall fully contains 2 mountains and 5 forests inside city limits. And that's the Akshi half. Hammerhall is called the Twin-Tailed City because it's so big it exists in 2 dimensions, separated and connected by the Stormrift Realm Gate, Hammerhall Aksha and Hammerhall Gyra, in the realms Fire and Life respectively, and the 2 realms that all the great cities reside in. The Living City is, well, a living monument to Alariel, goddess of life, as it was she who raised its walls, grew and shaped its buildings, and gently cleared its roads with a wave of her hand. Would-be conquerors will find themselves fighting not just her armies, but the actual environment as well. Greywater Fastness is an industrial powerhouse of choking soot, blazing factories, and cannons mounted to every wall and rooftop. Think the Cannon City from Otomo's memories. Overwhelming and extravagant firepower is the premier military stratagem, and the dead, cratered landscape stretching out for miles in every direction from the city is testament to the successful application of said theory. The Phoenicium is a metropolis of shining spires, hanging gardens, and walkways throughout an entire mountain range. Ruled by phoenixes and their high elf worshippers who survived the cleansing fires of mortality. It is surrounded by a deadly orange mist that encases any invaders in hardened amber, imprisoning them for eternity to serve as a warning. Anvilgard is a frontier/jungle/volcanic mountain range city-state/port. Look, I said they were big. A noble exterior hides a ridiculously corrupt pirate council, the Black Scale Coil, who really run the show. Hollowheart is a cavernous crater of mines and magic, comprised of plateau fortresses, mage towers, teleporters, and sheer cliff buildings. The air and earth are thick with sorcery, and the members of their magocracy are thick and cast sorcery. Tempest's Eye is an entire peninsula capstoned by Titan Spear Mountain, whose uppermost strongholds exist fully in the clouds, guarded by fleets of Caradhran aircraft carrier princes. HeyWoah is sweet. Part 2. Models. Old beards are welcome. These are the classics. They hold up and have great details. Perfect to learn on and a good canvas for masters. The diversity is almost unparalleled among AOS armies, and you can stick mostly along old racial lines if you wish, or go full melting pot good stuff. Good centerpieces and troops made for formations. If you like your army to look like, well, a proper army, look no further than Cities of Sigmar. Warning, many of these models come with square bases in their boxes because they're old. Luckily, bases are beyond cheap. Be sure to look up the official recommended base sizes here, and play with them. Even something as small as being on square instead of round can be the difference between 2 ranks of soldiers getting attacks in melee, or 3, which is just unfair, so don't be that guy. Also, most of the range needs to be ordered online, which is bad news for in-person impulse shoppers, but good news for those wanting an army that makes them unique, as these barriers help to keep the faction very underrepresented despite looking cool and being powerful on the table. Some Cities of Sigmar star players, but by no means an exhaustive list since there's so many, include Free Guild General on Griffin, which is a fine hero monster and a good general for many armies. Free Guild Guard with swords and shields always, for cheap battle line. Free Guild Greatsworders, who have pretty good damage and a mortal wound proc. Darkling Coven Sorceress or Collegiate Battle Mages, who have great bit selection in their box, by the way. Super classic wizards. Dispossessed Iron Drakes, as I mentioned before, are Chad Blaze Masters. Phoenix Guard are almost immortal with a 4-up ward save and still fight well. Celestial Hurricanum is an expensive but powerful Death Star buff wagon. Demigryph Knights are competent cavalry. Shadow Warriors make great harassers. Gyrocopters are goofy but low-key chain guns. Eternal Guard are fine anvils. And don't forget you can use Stormcast in any city as well. And Kharadron Overlords in Tempest's Eye. And Sylvaneth in Living City. Part 3. Playstyle. Cities of Sigmar is a combined arms silver bullet toolbox. You're one of those armies with an answer for everything. It's just about picking the right things and making sure they can do their job without getting killed first. You also have combos, and lots of power pairs, and high magic. There are a lot of moving parts here, but through teamwork you will prevail as long as everyone knows their place. As far as Allegiance abilities go, you have Stormkeeps. So 1 in every 4 units from your army may, at your option, be a Stormcast Eternal unit, and they get your keywords so all your abilities work with them. They're not allies. You also get Honored Retinue and Adjutant. If your general has a wounds characteristic of 6 or less, you can have a unit of 5 to 20 troops be assigned as his retinue, and not only give him Look Out Sir, but also shift wounds from him on a 4-up. The Adjutant is another foot hero you can designate that gives him Wise Counsel if nearby, granting you a command point in your hero phases on a 4-up. Finally, you get Amplified Sorcery, which lets all your endless spells count as if they were cast from their home realm, regardless of which realm the battle is taking place in or the realm your army is from. This might not seem like it at first, but it is incredibly powerful and is definitely a build-around-me power for the army. Some of the generic endless spells get straight-up rocket fuel in their home realm, particularly Umbral Spell Portal and Soul Scream Bridge. Oh, did I say finally before? Because then you pick which of the 7 great cities your army is from, and doing so gives you 2 or 3 allegiance abilities and another command ability that all your heroes know. Very briefly, the cities shape up to be like this. Hammerhall is pure combat power, melee bonuses everywhere, strong central general and heroes, great spells, some extra command points, battle shock immunity on your side of the table. If you like everybody hitting on 2s and a command ability that lets you pile in twice, Hammerhall's for you. Living City has a 1 in 4 rule for Sylvaneth as well as Stormcast. Board edge ambushes, free movement after you shoot, great spells, and the mighty Wardroth Horn, which is once per battle, army-wide, +1 attack with every weapon on every person. That's what I'm talking about. Greywater Fastness has really cool lore. And, alright, I'll give it to you straight. Their rules are just top to bottom bad. Like Salvofire gives you +1 to hit with handgunners and iron drakes, and that's okay, but that's a bonus easily acquired by any other city. And a lot of their rules have to do with steam tanks, and steam tanks suck. I mean, you can't win them all. But not everybody cares about winning. A lot of people online pretend not to care about winning while they're complaining about not winning. So who cares, roll up with 90 handgunners, some steam tanks, and some Hellstorm rocket batteries, spend a bunch of hobby time on it, and have it look great. Also, consider just winning anyway. The Phoenicium, big army-wide bonuses whenever anything on your side dies, with artifacts and your command ability that doubles and triples down on this combo. They also have 1 good spell. Anvil Guard gives you an extra artifact and D3 command points because they steal them, has battle shock immunity if you, make an example out of someone. Your Sorceress on Black Dragon has Acid Blood like an alien, and you have terrific spells, including the Wombo combo that is Spell Portal plus Vitriolic Spray. Perhaps a bit of a one-trick pony in a lesser city, but the combo's good. Hallowheart has unstoppably powerful magic, but your rituals hurt. Great spells, and you get twice as many as any other city, and all your wizards become double casters. Everything else is great. And finally, Tempest's Eye. It has the 1 in 4 rule for Kharadron Overlords in addition to Stormcast. Run and Shoot is a command ability. In Battle Round 1, everyone is amazing with +1 to save and +3 move army-wide. And of course, Aura of Glory, which gives +1 attacks to everyone wholly within 12 of the caster. While Hallowheart might be the standout obvious choice, it's good, but most of the cities have interesting and powerful mechanics you can build around. List building can be done a few ways, be it picking a city first and building around your abilities, or choosing a race first and finding power pairs of buff hero plus good unit equals great unit, or choosing strategy first and building towards that goal. Part 4. Stats. Offense, B+. Buffed handgunners are good ranged battle line, but Iron Drakes are straight up Blaze Masters, with their Blaze Away special rule that doubles their shots if they haven't moved. Wouldn't you know it? Soulscream Bridge doesn't count as a move. You also have some good options for melee units, with a cheap buff hero nearby like Hammerers, although they're slow, and Blackguard and Free Guild Greatsworders, even though they're a touch pricey. Free Guild General on Griffin with a good trait and artifact makes a quality monster and has a great command ability. You have lots of Rend 1, some Rend 2, some Mortal Wounds, lots of 2-inch reach for a lot of attacks, very reliable buffs, and the power projection to put damage exactly where it needs to go. Defense, B+. Free Guild Guard with Swords and Shields make very efficient battle line chaff, as do the more expensive Eternal Guard, but if you want High Elf Spartans who shrug off hits with ease and still answer back, accept no substitute for Phoenix Guard. While Phoenix Guard themselves are probably A+ defense, they bring the army itself up to about a B+. Positioning B. Outside of their S-tier bridge combo to teleport a unit and a screen for that unit 24 inches, the army is otherwise kind of slow. But man, what a combo. Your Demigryph Knight Cavalry is okay, and don't sleep on Steam Gun Gyrocopters. They look silly and require some finesse, but they can be low-key great. Free Guild General on Griffin, again, is pretty good here. Mechanics A+. Amplified Sorcery is awesome, and several of the city's mechanics are game-changing, like Hammerhall's Righteous Purpose, Living City's Ambush and Melt Away, Anvilgar's Vitriolic Spelldoor, Tempest's Eyes, Alert and Forewarned, and Hallowheart's Whitefire Court and Arcane Channeling. These mechanics are straight up fun. Part 5. Notes and Target Audience. The greatest strength of cities is also a bit of a weakness as it pertains to new players. You have so much choice that it can be hard to settle on a proper list, which is where aesthetics come in to solve all your problems. Cheap buff heroes for the different races do a lot to smooth over most minor imbalances within unit roles, such as which DPS horde do I use, Blackguards, Greatsworders, Hammerers, or Wildwood Rangers. Yes, there's some clear winners and losers at a cursory glance, but even the obviously outmatched Wildwood Rangers suddenly do double damage against monsters, and so if your meta leans Monster Mash, you have another silver bullet in your quiver. You don't have any good start collecting boxes. You have to order your models online, and you may have a lot of troops to paint. But this army is for ladies and gentlemen. You like retro style, jolly cooperation, proper chains of command, and expect to get out as much as you put in. Your many combos can be very powerful, but careful that they aren't pulled apart or overwhelmed if a cog spins out of the machine. Audible footnote. If the aesthetics aren't for you, but you like the playstyle, the answer is clearly Skaven. And to a lesser degree, Beasts of Chaos, certain Tzeentch, Seraphon, or even Nurgle armies.